It's a new school year, and most of your teenage daughters have started either continuing on to their school they're at now, or is starting a new adventure as a middle schooler or high schooler and find themselves at a new school. Today, we're diving into the topic that's pretty relevant to the new school year, right? Helping our teenage daughter navigate and organize their school schedule. For many of your girls, it's probably the first time they're juggling multiple teachers, assignments, and classrooms, and it can be a bit overwhelming, right? And today what we're going to do is talk about some great tips and strategies that you can use to help guide her in starting the year off right and stay on track. So let's get started. Before we start, I haven't read a review in such a long while, and I can't remember the last time I read a review. And because you take the time to leave reviews on my podcast, I want to be able to share them here. Jay Brumley says, "Love this. As a mama of 2 teenage daughters, I'm excited about this podcast. Jeannie has such a great perspective and offers such amazing strategies, and I'm learning so much. Can't wait for more." Well, thank you, Jay Brumley, for the kind words. We're about giving you mamas tips, strategies, and tools to equip you for, creating open communication with your girl. And if you're here like Jay Brumley moms and found that the content here very helpful, I'd love to hear it. I'd love for you to scroll down after you listen to this episode though, right? And leave a review. I want to hear from you. I want to know how this podcast is helping you create open communication with your daughter. Guess what? September is my birthday month and I feel like celebrating. So we're going to have a contest. Actually, not a contest, a giveaway. I'm giving my favorite things away. Great, awesome things that I personally use, that I personally love as a mama, as a woman, and just to take care of myself simply because I love them. I'm going to announce a winner at the end of the month, and this is how you can enter into our giveaway. Is simply scroll down, leave a review, since we're talking about reviews. If you haven't joined our free mom community, or be an insider so that you can get weekly newsletters with tips and resources to help guide your teenage daughter, as well as be the first to know on any special offers that are happening just for you. Head on over to raisingherconfidently.com, sign up to be an insider, join our free mom community, and leave a review, and you will be entered into my favorite things giveaway announced at the end of this month in the free mom community, as well as in my newsletter. So make sure you are a part of those. I'm looking forward to your review. Hey mama, welcome to Raising Her Confidently. Do you want to have open communication with your teen daughter? Do you find yourself constantly thinking about how to talk to your teen or why your girl is not opening up to you? Do you wake up with confident intentions only to feel confused and frustrated when all you get are one-word answers from your daughter again? Hey, I'm Jeannie. I too was a mom raising young teens. I too felt grieved by the loss of my sweet, talkative little girl. I wanted her to come to me about anything, even if she was scared, and listen to my advice. But I kept thinking, she won't listen to me, and I don't know how to approach her until I found tools to create open communication. In this podcast, you will find how to connect and talk to your teen and create a safe space for her to go to so that you will have that close relationship you dreamed of. Go grab your glass of Merlot and throw off those fuzzy slippers, and let's dig in together. Okay, here we go. That first day of a new experience, new grade, new school can be very daunting. And like I said earlier, overwhelming for your girl. So I want to spend time in this episode really sharing some tips on how you can support her during the beginning of the year to offset some of this overwhelming feelings that she has. So number 1, understanding the challenge. We want to understand the challenge. Let's acknowledge the challenge that she's having. Transitioning to a more complex school schedule is a big step. Different teachers, varying assignments, and moving between classrooms can be a lot to manage. right? It's a new level of responsibility and independence that she may not be expecting. She's probably heard about it. She's probably envisioned it, but to actually experience it is a whole nother level, right? And it's natural for our daughters to feel a bit anxious about it. And you'll probably notice in the beginning weeks, maybe days, and even maybe this month, that she's going to feel anxious and uneasy. And we need to take note and be aware of that. So our role is to really help guide them through this transition with empathy and practical support, right? So maybe, which is our second tip, is establishing a routine. Establish a routine. Help her establish a routine. I mean, in the summer, there was no routine. Everything was thrown out the door, right? There was no 8 to 2 o'clock, if that's your school schedule, and a routine of coming home, doing homework. Now she has to get back into this routine. And if she is experiencing middle school or high school for the first time, this can be very, throw her off even more, right, with the multiple schedules. So one of the best ways to help your daughter is establish a solid routine. Consistency is key. She's going to have to work at habits, right? It takes, I think, 7 to 15 times for a habit to really stick. So consistency is key. Start with a morning routine that ensures that she has enough time to get ready without rushing, right? Encourage her to set her alarm and to listen to the alarm and not snooze it 20 million times. This might include maybe packing their bag the night before if she has a tendency to want to sleep in a little bit. Already thinking of that healthy breakfast that she's going to have the next morning. And then setting a specific time to leave for school. Think backwards. If she has to be at school, if the first bell rings at 8 o'clock, for example, well, where we're at, it can't ring until 8:30. So 8:30, and she feels like it's going to be busy. So she wants to be there 45 minutes early. So she needs to be there at 7:45. So how is she going to get there? How long does it take to leave before she gets to school so she can be there on time? Encourage your daughter to use a planner or a digital calendar or whatever it is they use. I'm old school. I still like to write things down because I can remember it. And I love, making it very creative in my own. So I'm very creative in that way. So I love paper planners. But it's up to what works for your daughter. Maybe sit down together and fill in her class schedule so she can visually see it, noting important dates like her exams and project deadlines that she can put already in the calendar. If her teachers are that organized and she has access to their calendar for the semester, and help her prioritize her tasks, right? And set aside specific times for homework, study, and her extracurricular activities. If she's already involved in school with either a sport or a club, she can put that in, right? And then manage her homework and studying around that. A routine helps her with structure. It provides structure, predictability, which reduces her stress and helps her manage her time effectively. So if we can help her with establishing a routine with all the things she has in a realistic way, because that's important, it has to be realistic, right? We can overpack our schedules and it's not realistic and she's feeling more stressed. So in a realistic way, so she can both visualize it, anticipate it, and be able to manage it efficiently. Third is organizing school supplies. I mean, who uses school supplies now? I don't know. I just know that my daughter, when she was in high school, she had her computer and a pen and maybe a notebook, but I felt like she took all her notes on the computer. So it's funny how nowadays Gen Zers and even Gen Alphas study. It's so much different from the way I would study. So let's talk about organizing those supplies. A well-organized backpack and a study space can make a huge difference, right? She's just shoving all her stuff in her backpack and it's really cluttered in there, not sure what she's pulling out when she sticks her hand in there. So you want to help your daughter declutter her backpack regularly and use folders or binders, some type of organizational system to keep her paperwork maybe her test that she gets back. I mean, if everything is digital, then that's totally fine too, but find a way to organize her computer or even some notes. If she's still a visual person and needs to write it down, how is she organizing her notes from her class to study from? She can color code this. She can have a little, if she uses index cards, a little box to with a file system in there to separate her notes from her classes. This helps with visual cues so that she can keep organized and know where things are at. At home, create a dedicated study space that's free from distractions. I mean, how often do our kids study at the dining room table and life is happening there at that moment? Everyone's coming home, either having a snack, the TV's on, someone's cooking in the kitchen, and they're trying to do their homework at the kitchen table or the dining room table. So let's find an area that they can study and it's free from distractions, and then stock it with the necessary things that she needs, maybe pens, highlighters, notebooks, whatever it may be, even a whiteboard to track some of the assignments that are due for the week. An organized space helps improve focus and productivity. I know even now as an adult, when my space is clean and organized and I know where everything is at, I feel like my head declutters at the same time and I'm able to move forward. When my space is not, I feel like I cannot move forward until I get those things organized. And it might be the same for your daughter. So having her keep things in place, have a specific spot for whatever it is, will allow her to keep it tidy as well. Okay, fourth, developing good study habits. So this is another way you can help her organize her school year, is really developing those good study habits. Now, I don't know if they teach that in school nowadays, but it's an essential life skill that our daughters need to learn is studying good habits. Good study habits are essential, right? They're essential even in life now. We always are studying for some type of test or some type of review, but we're studying. And that is a life skill that our girls need to have. And if we teach your daughter how to break down large assignments, right? If she has this huge project that's due, into manageable chunks and set specific goals for each study session. In my Talk to Your Teen Girl framework, I actually have a tool that we use, and it's a goal setting tool to help her with things like assignments when they're due and breaking down the goals so she can accomplish them and putting time on them. So that's all in the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. It's not just about communication, but utilizing tools like goal setting tools to help communicate and help your daughter be successful in things like school. So encouraging regular breaks to avoid burnout and keep her mind fresh, right? So these study sessions, we want to also break them down into smaller things, smaller goals, specific goals, and encourage breaks in between, right? Burnout is what keeps our daughter from really accomplishing what they want to do. They get more stressed out, they don't sleep, and they're done, right? They're done. They're like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And then they get moody. So if we can help set them up by already giving them good study habits, this will minimize all of that. And also to discuss the process of reviewing notes. All right, earlier I talked about color coding notes. Now we need to help give some input about reviewing notes regularly instead of cramming the night before a test. What I encouraged my own kids is, hey, at the end of the week, and it's not always like the best, it's not like the number one thing they want to do on a Friday night, but it could be a Friday morning or it could even be a Thursday night. I would encourage a Thursday night over a Friday night because they're done. Their brain is done. The weekend is here. To review their notes from that week so it's fresh in their heads for the following week. Because they just took those notes the week of, reviewing them just solidifies it a little bit more, and developing these habits early will definitely benefit them throughout their academic journey, including college, because this is such a great habit to start enforcing, is frequently reviewing notes instead of waiting to the last minute to cram it all in. It's better to remember things in little bits than they are to remember in big chunks. Okay, and number 5, encourage open communication. Of course, this podcast is about open communication, and we always want to create open communication in whatever area of life your daughter is in, right? In this particular case, it's about school. Keep the lines of communication open. Check in with your daughter regularly about how she's feeling and any challenges that she's facing. Maybe even offer support and reassurance and remind her of the things you've been working on. Hey, remember we established this? How is it working? How is the color coding working for you? Is there something that we need to tweak, right? And it's okay. Make sure you establish that it's okay to ask for help, whether it's from you, whether it's from her teachers or even her school counselors, that she doesn't have to handle it herself, that it's okay to reach out for help when she's feeling overwhelmed or confused. And also, Mama, I want you to celebrate her successes, no matter how small, and encourage this growth mindset that you want from her. It's a journey of little steps, right? This journey of little steps that we're not going to get it perfect, but we're continuing to grow. As we move along middle school years, as we move along high school years, we're learning new things, new habits that encourage us to grow and to want to keep on growing, right? Remind her that mistakes are a part of a learning process, right? And growth, and that she, because of these mistakes, will have resilience to overcome a lot of obstacles that might come her way when it comes to school. So here we go, wrapping it all up. Helping our daughters navigate their new school schedules is all about providing support, structure, and encouragement, right? With a solid routine, organized supplies, good study habits, and open communication, as we just had talked about, we can set them up for success and hopefully a stress-free year, but at least a way for her to feel like she's fully supported and not alone in this journey. So, Mama, which of these will you start today? Is it helping her establish a routine? Maybe it's organizing those supplies that she has. Maybe it's starting to develop those good study habits when that time comes. I would even suggest doing that when there is a test. And then encouraging open communication with her, allowing her to know that it's okay to go ask for help, even if it's not from you. That it's okay to go to her teachers, it's okay to go to her school counselors, and it's okay not to know all the answers, but to go find them. Mama, don't forget to come join our free mom community. Now, Mama, if you felt this episode has helped you, I would love it if you can go to Apple Podcasts, scroll to the bottom, and leave a review. I promise I'll read it. I'll see you next time. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you or encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd love for you to share it. You can screenshot this episode and share it in your stories on social media or text it to a friend who can use the support. It's the best way you can thank me. I want to let other mamas know they are not alone. I'd love to stay connected with you. You can find me at raisingherconfidently.com. Until next time, live full of grace, Jeannie.